Hello and welcome to this free tutorial for the piano version of Anyone by Justin Bieber. You can access the sheet music for this arrangement at pianoversion.org, and once you've learnt the song you can use the play along video linked above or at the end of this tutorial to practice in real time. The play along version is intermediate difficulty, but in this tutorial I'll give you some easy workarounds and different options to suit your skill level. Hit subscribe to catch all the latest piano versions as they come out, and you can request piano versions of songs that you would like to hear or learn in the comments below. That you are the only one I'll ever love. Yeah, you, if it's not you, it's not anyone. Anyone is in the key of D major. That means it's got two sharps, an F sharp and a C sharp. For this arrangement of Anyone, in order to recreate the feel and the synth drum beat that goes on, what I've decided is to use a repeating note for most of the song. So that's on a D pretty much all the way through. It does switch hands. If that's too difficult to play in some places, then the easy version is to skip that and just play the chords that I'll teach you that go over the top. If it's too difficult to keep the pulse going throughout, then the easier version is to just play the chords that I'll teach you that go over the top of the pulse. So the intro is just 2 bars of the pulse, which we'll play on our left hand, and we'll play on D below middle C. Here's middle C, so we'll go D. And we'll stress it on the 1, the 2 and the 4. So we'll go 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3. 4. And we'll play it with a pedal down throughout, and the pedal will only change on chords. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2. Just play that a couple of times, because that rhythm and the accents within the rhythm will continue throughout. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. So you just, when I say accent, I mean that you play those notes a little bit harder. 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3. In the first verse, we'll keep the pulse going with our left hand on that D, and the right hand will play chords over the top. So in the very first bar, Dance With Me Under the Diamonds, we'll play an F sharp with our thumb in the right hand, and an A with our middle finger. Here's middle C, so these are the F sharp and the A below middle C. We'll hold that for a bar, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Then we'll play just a single note G. This is on diamonds. For a bar, 1, 2 and 3, 4. So the first line goes, dance with me under the diamonds. And we'll keep it nice and quiet here. I've marked on the score that it's mezzo piano, which is medium soft. Second bar, see me like breath in the cold. We'll go back to that same D major chord, F sharp and A, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll go up to an A and a C sharp. So it's basically an A major chord with that D in the bass. So it's see me like breath in the cold. Hold for a bar. Then we'll repeat those 4 bars. Sleep with me here, and then a G, silence, back to the D, come kiss me, so to the A. And that takes us to the pre-chorus. And the pre-chorus is the section, you say that I won't lose you, but you can't predict the future. So this is where we'll swap the pulse to the right hand now, but we'll keep it on the same note. So it's up to you really. Find out your best place to swap. So you can do it within the last bar. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So your left hand is going to go from this D, and it's going to go to the B below the stave. So that's 2 octaves below middle C, and we're just going to play that single note there. While the right hand is going to take over that thumb, take over the pulse, and we're still going to play the same chord that we play in the first bar of the verse. So we're going to play the F sharp and the A above that. So that first bar of the pre-chorus, you say that I won't lose you, thumb there, middle finger, and little finger. So I would probably swap over the bar before, 1, 2 and 3, 4. So I'm swapping over on beat 4. If it's easier, you can just swap on the 1, 2, 3, 4. It means that you've got a big jump in the left hand. Whereas if you swap a bit earlier, 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got time to get down for the left hand. So you do that for a bar. You say that I won't lose you, but you can't predict. And on the second bar, we're going to a G2 chord. So we're going to move up to a G with our left hand. Right hand continues the thumb there. And we're going to play a G and an A with our 4th and 5th finger for a bar. Can't predict the future. And then we're going to play the same thing in the right hand that we play in the first bar. So it's a D major chord essentially, with an F sharp in the bass. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then we're going to play that A over D, 2, 3, 4, which we'll call an A add 4. That comes back quite a lot in this song. So A and C sharp with our 3rd finger and our little finger, while our thumb continues going on the D. Now we don't have to hold that all the time because we're obviously using our pedal. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to play an A in the left hand for that bar. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So those first 4 bars, B minor 7 on You Say That I Won't Lose You, G2, Predict the Future, D over F sharp on Hold On, and then the last bar, Live or Let Go, A add 4. So if you don't want to play that pulse, you can just go, you say that I won't lose you, but you can't predict the future, so just hold on like you will never let go. What I'm doing is the pulse. You say that I won't lose you, but you can't predict the future, so just hold on like you will never let go. Yeah, if... So the second half of the pre-chorus, we're going to play a D major chord for a bar, so same thing, F sharp and A, with the D in the bass. If you ever move on without me, we're going to go to the G2, exactly the same, G in the bass, D pulse, G and A, without me, to the D over F sharp, so D major, keep the pulse going, and the F sharp in the bass. I need to make sure you know. Then there would be an A, but it kind of cuts out. So what we'll do is we won't play anything, we'll just keep the pulse going. I need to make sure you know, take your foot off the pedal. So you take your foot off the pedal and then back on. So you just have a bar of that. Again, if you don't want to play the pulse, just play the chords. If you ever move on without me, I need to make sure you know 1, 2, and you can just leave that last bar clear. So let's play from the beginning up to the chorus, starting with the pulse in the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, lots of pedal. Dance with me under the diamonds. Back to D. See me like back to A. Nice and soft. Sleep with me here in the silence. Back to D. Come kiss me silver and gold. We're gonna swap. You say that I won't lose you, but you can't predict the future, so just hold on like you will never let go. Yeah, if you ever move on without me, D over F sharp, I need to make sure you know that you... We've got to the chorus now. So we're going to fill out quite a lot more with the hands, lots of octave stretches. So if octave stretches aren't your thing, I would always go for the lower note so you get the fullness of it. So for example, that left hand, we're going to start on octave F sharps. Here's middle C, C below middle C, F sharp below that, and the F sharp below that. So if you can't do that octave, just play the low note. Every time I'm talking about octaves, just take the low option on that. So our thumb in the right hand is going to continue pulsing through the chorus. If you don't want to do that, just play the chords that I teach you. So those are the 4 chords over 4 bars that repeat through the chorus. So the first chord is a D over F sharp. So our thumb's pulsing on the D in the right hand. Our index finger is going to play F sharp, middle finger is going to play A, and our little finger is going to play D above that. We're going to hold that for most of the bar. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. On the 4 and, we call this a push, because it's rhythmically pushing ahead of the beat. We're going to play G in the left hand, and it's a G2 chord in the right hand, but slightly fuller, so the thumb's still pulsing there. Index finger is going to move to the G above the F sharp, and our middle finger and little finger are going to stay on the same notes, the A and the D. So the only notes that are moving are the left hand and the index finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. 1, 2, and. And on that second and, the right hand's going to go back to a D major shape, but the left hand's going to move to a B, which makes it a B minor 7. So the rhythm of just the chords goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1. And on the third bar, it's a full A add 4. So A octave in the left hand. Our thumb is going to play 2 notes if we can. D and E. I'll give you a slightly easier version in a second. So D and E. Our index finger is going to go up to the A. Our fourth finger is going to play C sharp above middle C, and our little finger is going to play D above that. So the 4 chords are D over F sharp, G2, B minor 7, A add 4. And the timing goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, that repeats. So the D over F sharp is on beat 1 and the A add 4 is on beat 1, but the G2 and the B minor 7 are pushed. Now adding to that, I'll come back to some easier voicings on those chords in a second. Adding to that, we'll keep that pulse going. So when we go to the A add 4, our thumb is going to play A and D and E together, and then it's going to go back to pulsing just the E. Let's play that chorus with the pulses. So this is the hardest version of it. I'll come back and do a slightly easier version in a second. So it goes 1, 2, 3. That you are the only one I'll ever love. Yeah, you. If it's not you, it's not anyone. Play it 2 more times. Looking back on my life, you're the only good I've ever done, ever done. Yeah, you. If it's not you, it's not anyone, not anyone. So we've got 1 extra bar on the A add 4 at the end. Not anyone. 1, 2, 3, not anyone. And we'll fade through those 3 bars at the end. The easier version, so you can take out the pulsing thumb if you want, and you could also take out that low D completely. So if that's all a bit too much of a stretch for you and you don't want to play the pulse, then play the D major chord with your thumb on the F sharp, A and D, then the G, so your index finger and little finger stay on A and D, and the thumb moves up to G. Then on the B minor 7, you're just going to play that D major shape there. And then the A4, if you can play that, A, E, A, C sharp and D in the right hand. You are the only one I'll ever love. Repeat that a couple of times. Yeah, you. If it's not you, it's not anyone. The in-between version is to keep the thumb there. If you can do that stretch but not the pulse, then you just play those full chords and you don't pulse. You are the only one I'll ever love. Yeah, you. If it's not you, it's not anyone. There's a few different versions there. So we faded through the final 3 bars of that first chorus, and that takes us to the second verse. Now we're going to fill out. The chords are the same. This time there's movement in the left hand. So the pulse, that D pulse, is going to stay on our right hand, but we're also going to pulse the bass notes with our left hand. And those notes are D, G, F sharp, A. And that repeats around twice through the verse. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to hold the pedal down through each bar. So we're also pulsing that D. And on the stress notes, the 1, the 2, and the 4, we're going to play the chord with the other notes. So it's the same voicing that we're playing in the first verse. But we're playing it 3 times. So the first bar is F sharp and A while the thumb continues. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Then we go to G and A. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Then back to the same. 1, the same as the first bar. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Then up to the A and C sharp. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And that repeats. We get to the pre-chorus now. Keep that pulse in the right hand, and the thumb is going to pulse in the left hand while we play full bar notes or semi-breves with our little finger. So we go to the B minor 7, G, D over F sharp to the A. Now if those stretches are too hard, then obviously just play a single note. The right hand, thumb is pulsing. We're doing the same rhythm with the chords above. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Then the G2, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Back to the D over F sharp, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Up to the A add 4, so C sharp and A, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Then we go to the straight D, if you ever. Then to the G2, D over F sharp. And as we did at the end of the first pre-chorus, we're not going to play the A chord, we're just going to go back to that pulse. We're going to drop it right down in volume and then build through the bar. I need to make sure you know 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that takes us to the chorus. So let's play through the second verse and second pre-chorus. Starting on the D chord, this is forever's not enough time to 1, 2, 3, 4. Forever's not enough time to. We're also playing a bit heavier now. Love you the way that I want. Repeat those chords. Cause every morning I find you. D over F sharp. I fear the day that I don't. Into the pre-chorus. You say that I will lose you, but you can't predict the future. Cause certain things are out of our control. Yeah, if you ever move on without me, to make sure you know that you. And that's into the second chorus. Now, there's one thing in that pre-chorus. There's a big jump in the left hand where it goes from the D to the G. And that's on if you ever move on without me. 1, 2. I'm switching from my thumb to my index finger, so I'm ready for the G. If you ever move on without me. So I don't have to do that jump. Okay, so second chorus. This is the same as the first chorus with one slight difference at the very, very end. On the A add 4. So whichever version you're happy with playing for the first chorus, play for the second chorus. This last bit, it would be at the harder end of difficulty. When we hit that A add 4, this is on if it's not you, it's not anyone, it's not anyone. This is taking us into the build. So we hit that A add 4, the pulse is going to switch to the left hand, so we're going to play that A, 1 and 2 and 3, we're going to jump up to that D. So we're just going to play the chord with our right hand, and then we're going to jump up as well. And that's a C sharp and an A above middle C, and it goes 1, 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's over those two bars. I'll play that a couple of times. So 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's this little echoey guitar thing that happens. If it's too difficult to do that, then just play exactly the version that you played. So whether that's keeping the pulse going in the right hand or whether it's just holding the chord, whichever version is easier for you. But the difficult, hardest version is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's play the last 4 bars. This is yeah, you, if it's not you, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you, if it's not you, it's not anyone. That takes us to the middle 8, or the build. Our left hand is going to jump down. We're going to play octaves now. We're going to hold the D octaves. We're nice and low on this, so the lowest D on the keyboard and the D above that. Here's middle C with 2 octaves below. We're going to play the stresses 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We play that for 4 bars. We're going to crescendo over the whole of the 8-bar passage of this. So we're going to have to start it a little bit quieter so we can just slowly build through this section. Our right hand is just going to play chords. So we've just gone up, we're going to go back down around middle C here. So our thumb is going to play F sharp below middle C, index finger A below middle C, and little finger D above middle C. And that's a D major chord initially. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and So we push this second chord, which is an A major chord, whilst the D continues. So that's A with the thumb, C sharp with the middle finger, and E with the little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the second 4 and, we're going to play a D sus. So that's keep the A with the thumb, middle finger on D, little finger on G above. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go back to a D major chord with a slightly higher voicing. So thumb stays on A, middle finger on D, little finger on F sharp. So the first 4 bars with the left hand keeping that D in the bass. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's too difficult to play those pushes, just play it straight on beat 1. There's something nice about those pushes. Then we get to the 5th bar. We go, if it's not you, it's not anyone. On that, we're going to go to a B in the left hand, and we're going to play the D major voicing, same as we play at the beginning of this section in the right hand, which makes it a B minor 7. But as we're getting bigger, as we're going through this section, we're now going to start playing the stresses. So for this first bar on the B minor 7, we're going to play the stresses, the accents in the right hand. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And then we go to the A, but the B is in the bass this time. And we're going to start pulsing the A with the right hand. 1, 2, and 3, 4. While the chords play the rhythm. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now we're going to go to the D sus figure in the right hand with a pulsing A and playing the accents with the other 2 notes, while the left hand moves to an A, keeps pulsing, and the 4th bar is slightly different. We go to an A sus, so thumb stays there on the A, index finger on D, here's middle C, middle finger on E, and little finger on the top A, and we're going to play quavers or 8th notes all the way through this bar. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And we're going to play the same pushes. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And that we're at fortissimo there, so that's the loudest we're going to get in this song. Let's play through this section. So we're starting with the D major here, and D in the bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Go D sus to the D major. Slowly getting louder. B minor 7 with the pushes. Now right hand pulses. Move to A, and A sus 2, 3, 4, which takes us to the chorus. The final chorus will start just with the chords, no pulsing. So if you can do the full stretch, great. So F sharps in the left hand, and then a full octave D, F sharp, A, and D. Here's middle C in the right hand. You are the only. On only, we go to the G. Everything stays the same in the right hand apart from our index finger moves from F sharp to G. And then we move it back in the right hand to the F sharp, and the left hand goes to the B minor. And you are the only one I'll ever love. And on Ever Love, the beat really kicks in on the track. So we're going to pulse with the left hand in octaves. Again, as I said at the beginning, if octaves are too hard for you, go for the lower note on all of these. But we're going to pulse on octaves with the accents. And that's going to continue through now. So in those left-hand notes, the notes are the same. The notes are what we're used to, but now we're playing 8th notes or quavers all the way through. And we hit the A add 4. Same voicing, but now we're going to pulse through. So we're going to play the D and the E together, and the other notes are going to play the accents. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If it's too difficult to do that, so the easier version, or not the easiest version, would be to go 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1. Just play the chord, or play the chord without the double thumb note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And obviously, the ultimate easier version is to just play the single note in the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The version on the play along, D and E in the left hand, and full octaves. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you. So we're playing the same voicings, but we're pulsing now. And we're going to play the chords. We're going to play the rhythm in our right hand of the accent. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're going to move to the G2 at the same place in the bar that we normally do. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the B minor 7 in the same place. We're just adding some extra accents. So with the left hand, D over F sharp to begin with. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We get to the A add 4, and it's exactly the 2 bars that we've just done. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3. Repeat that same figure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. We get to the last line in the song. We're going to cut it down to a piano, so really soft. We're going to still play octaves in the left hand, but we have to be really soft on that. We're going to play a D major chord, D, F sharp and A, no octave this time, so smaller voicing. F sharp's in the bass, so it's D over F sharp, U. Then we're not going to push these chords now, we're going to play them on the beat. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, the G2 on beat 1, 1, 2. B minor 7 we're going to play with a full octave, 3, 4, and then the E add 4, C sharp at the top, so we're not going to play the D at the top. The thumb is going to play D and E if we can, and middle finger on A, little finger on C sharp. If we can't do the double note on the thumb, we're just going to play an E. Or you can play the D at the top if that's easier. I prefer the sound of it with the D lower down. So let's play that last chorus. So we go with last bar of the previous, of the build with the A sus. It goes 1, 2, 3, yeah, you are the only one I'll ever love. Yeah, you, if it's not you, it's not anyone. Looking back at my life, you're the only good I've ever done. Yeah, you, if it's not you, it's not anyone. And we just hold on that last bar. I hope that's helped with learning the song and given you all the options that you need. Any questions, leave in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. Do hit subscribe and request any songs that you would like in the future on Piano Version. Thank you.